on Photography is a series of conversations with contemporary image makers, critics, gallery directors, and theoreticians. I'd like to welcome you all to the VASA on Photography series. Today, we're very lucky to have with us Inez Baturo, who's in Poland, Bolesno, Poland. She's a recognized landscape photographer. She's also co-founder of the Center for Photography and is director of the Photo Art Festival in Bolesno, Poland. She's co-founder of the Gallery of Photography. Her landscape photography is included in Women's History of Photography, and her work appears in many private and international collections. So let me bring you in and welcome to be here with us.
Hello, great to see you. Great to see you, Roberta. Thank you for inviting me to this internet chat.
Yes.
And
well,
internet connection.
Meant to be informal. With everything you're doing between the festival and the gallery and all that, how do you find time for your own photography?
I don't know. Really, sometimes I'm thinking about it and really there's no answer to this. I think that the only solution is just passion. If you've got passion to something, then the day becomes longer and broader and bigger. So that's how it works. So the only answer is just passion. Because also, except of that, I've got my house and my home and my son and my animals and my dinners, and I have to cope all with that. So just passion, I think, nothing more.
You should mention you have 2 horses.
Yeah, I've got 2 horses, 2 dogs, 3 cats, and 1 son.
Why only 1 son and not 3?
No, that's 1. Yeah. For the time being.
Okay. Well, you know, sometimes people who are very busy get more done than those that are not that busy. That's been some of my experience. But let's begin looking at your work. Yes. We can begin.
Because I don't hear everything. I don't hear everything that you are saying because there are breaks in the connection. But you probably asked me to show my screen, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to see my photos first, yeah? Not about the festival and the gallery, but about me as the author, yeah?
Yes, a photographer. And then we'll talk about the festival and the gallery later on, okay?
Later on. So now my photos, okay. So let's share the screen. This is the landscape that I do, and it's color. I prefer color than black and white. I tried black and white, but when I do black and white, I lack one dimension. So I like color in my photography, but I try it to be very subtle and very not invading the photo, just a subtle touch of additional feeling, of additional emotions. And sometimes when you look at my photographs from a distance, they really look like black and white or monochromatic. There are very few of the colors there, but there are colors. And as I say, they are important to me. Sometimes, like you see on the photo on the right, it's just all very pastel-like, very subtle. And what is important for me in landscape is that it's not just a pure postcard, or it's not just a pure document of my surrounding, but in fact, I treat landscape as a kind of my portrait, my self-portrait, because this is the way I want to transfer my emotions and my feelings and what I feel about the world, about the life here on the earth. So usually there are very few people in my landscapes. It's usually just the nature and me. And when I'm taking photos, it's a kind of meditation, I would say, for me. So it's also a kind of relax for me when I'm taking photos, but I think it's true to most of photographers. And if there is it's usually one human being, because I like this kind of solitude in landscape, but solitude which is good. I mean, you are not somebody who is outside something, but your solitude and your loneliness is in fact connected with nature. So I want to stress that we people are part of nature, are part of the world. So that's what it looks like. I don't travel quite far from my home to take the pictures. They are all taken in Poland and usually quite near to my house, because I live near to the mountains. So it's easy for me to go for a walk in the morning or in the evening. And I like those special moments when the day starts or when the day ends. And I really love ugly weather. So when it's raining or when it's foggy or when it's just the so-called ugly weather, this is the weather for me. This is when I pack my camera and go out, because this is something that I feel and I want to photograph. And in fact, I love snow, and I regret that we've got fewer and fewer winters each year, but still there is a lot of snow when I live, and I like it in the landscape because it covers many things, and it looks more like black and white, but still what I said before, it's not strictly black and white, but it looks like that. There are just two colors. So I can play with shapes, with emotions again, and it's limited in elements which I show, and I like it because I like photographs that don't show much, that are not too talkative. Mm-hmm. And in fact, the less is visible, the better for me. And I like kind of minimalism in my photography. And here again, on the picture on the left, here there is a human being, and I want this to show these proportions, that we are so little in the nature, that we really don't mean so much in the nature. Nature is can be so dominated, and I would like it to stay like that. That it stays like this in the nature, because people are very destroying in their nature, in their human nature. They destroy a lot of around them. So, and I don't like it. So I would prefer it to stay like this, that we are just little things in something that is bigger, more beautiful than us, but still we are part of this. And this picture on the right shows what I like, that there's really very few things happening there, and it's just a kind of light, which is very important for me. And sometimes lack of light is more important when I go to the nature and there's no sun. What I said, that there's just fog, and you can't see much. This is what I like in landscape. And it's very easy to be very trivial when you take landscape photography, and to be very straightforward, and hence not very much interesting, because landscape is something that we see every day around us. So it's hard I think so, that it's hard to make people be interested in landscape photography, and to show landscape in such a way that it shows something more than pure documentalism. So I repeat, what I'm working on with my photography is to transfer more of me, of my feelings, of my nature, of who I am inside, what kind of a soul am I, and to interpret the surrounding reality, and not to show it in a strict everyday way. So landscape is for me a kind of escape also, a kind of escape from reality, which sometimes is too hard for me, and too maybe too cruel. What I'm seeing, what's happening in the world around us, and I'm internally against it. But I can't take photos of that, because what I believe in is that when you take photos, you kind of duplicate what's happening. So when there is crime and you take a photo of a crime, you duplicate this crime. When you see blood and you take a photograph of this, you duplicate this. So I know it's maybe not very popular, but I try to find beauty in the world, to duplicate this beauty, and to make this world stay beautiful as it can be, because I'm very afraid that it will cherish one day, and that future generations will not see this beauty. And of course, I like very much social photography, and I like showing it in my gallery and during the festival. But me personally, I'm a person of landscape.
You know, there's a whole history, as you probably are aware of landscape photography. It goes back to the early days of photography itself. And in the States, in the late 1800s, it was called photopictorialism. And there was this association with painting, soft focus, focal point, but a lot of it was landscape photography. And your work seems to be grounded in that history of making these beautiful, luscious pictures. This is really the first time I've seen this much of your work, and it's really engaging.
Of course, we also had pictorialism in Poland, and there's a big tradition of this here. But when I started my photographs, I didn't really think about it, and it wasn't done on purpose. It wasn't just calculated by me that, yes, I want to be pictorial-like, yeah. It's just what I'm feeling, and being also aware that pictorialism is not very much in fashion, let's say this, but really I don't care, because it's just me. And I wouldn't be able to take pictures that would look differently than this. I mean, in landscape, because not in documentary things.
Well, I find it interesting that you said a couple of times already that you really see yourself or put yourself in these photographs, that they're very reflective of who you are. And that's, you know, one could begin to once you know that, you begin to read into these pictures something about you, or at least the connection between the viewer and your work. So, yeah.
Yeah, when you can see it, so it makes me happy, because this is my, maybe not purpose, but this is what I feel when I'm taking photos, that it's not the landscape outside, it's the landscape inside me, and the outside is just only a reason to take it. But what matters to me is what's going on inside me when I am in the world generally, when what happens inside me when I'm a living person, a human being, somehow here on the earth. Don't know why, don't know how, but it's a kind of mystery, and I try to convey it through my images.
Yeah.
So and this picture on the right,
yes,
right, I don't know how you see it. This picture was included in the history of women history of photography, a book published by Abbeville Press and written by Naomi Rosenblum in New York. She has chosen this photo as an exemplary photograph of my work.
Yeah. It's beautiful work. It's beautiful work. And the dimension of this kind of internal landscape, the complexities and the simplicity, the beauty, the minimalism, is what, as you said, is within you, and you find it outside in the landscapes. That's very interesting.
Can you hear my dogs barking?
Yes, I was going to ask you if those are your dogs. They're big dogs, if I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're big dogs. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're just guards of the house. And what I said also, light is very important for me. But again, light there is very subtle, and in fact, light there is very for a very short time, because sometimes people say, "What's a deal? It just was like that." So everybody would take a photo like this, but it doesn't happen like that, because sometimes it's a work like a photojournalist, because the light lasts just a few seconds or just a second. So sometimes you must be very quick just to shoot it, to catch it, what you see.
It's recognizing the moment.
Yeah. I also did some sea landscapes, but I feel myself, and I love water generally. I think water is a great element. When you are in water, you are inside this element. So it's again something very fascinating. You are even more part of the world when you are immersed physically in water. So water, especially when it's very dangerous and run by winds and big waves, it's also something fascinating. But I prefer mountains. I don't know why. Maybe because I live close to the mountains. Maybe that's why. Yeah. But
in some ways, your handling of light, your handling of form. I was looking at the waves and thinking about your mountains. The boat turned upside down. I mean, I begin to see these forms, and they're in some ways connected to your approach to photographing the mountains. So you're always seeing mountains in a way.
Maybe. Yeah. This is the last picture, landscape picture that I wanted to show. I still have some other presentations, but I don't know whether maybe you've got questions, or I don't know what's the time.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about, let's go back to our regular screen. Maybe stop sharing.
Okay. Stop sharing.
There we go.
Okay, I am.
We're still here. Okay, so how long have you been photographing? How did you get into photography? What brought you into this? Because your life is basically built around the image now.
People say that there are no mistakes, not mistakes, but no, how do you call it? No chances? How do you call it?
By chance, or it's yeah.
Anyway, I always wanted to translate books. This is what I wanted to do in my life. But when I was still a student, I met my future husband, who was a photojournalist, a known photojournalist, Polish photojournalist. And I started to go to take photos with him and his friends. And we were just traveling, going here and go. And they also took some photos in the mountains. And I was the only person in the group that didn't have a camera. And once I remember, because we usually went there in the early morning or very late at night. And once we were very late at night, and there was a big storm approaching us, a very, very big storm, and big dark clouds. And it was really very dangerous, and you could hear thunders and so on. And it was my first storm in the mountains, which is quite dangerous when you are there. And all the photographers were taking photos, but I was the only one just, going around myself and looking here, looking there. And I didn't have a camera. You didn't have iPhones there. So if you didn't have a camera, you couldn't take a photo. And everybody was pointing towards this storm. And I just turned around and I saw that on the other side of the mountain, there's something totally different, that it was just so quiet. It was because it was already dark. You had just blue mountains, blue heaven, and a white little, like a nail, little moon. And it was such a big contrast between this calm moon and this big storm that was approaching us. And when I looked at the moon, it was very cliche, I would say, and very, nothing unusual. But this contrast just hit me. And I just felt, this was the time that I felt, that this was the moment that I felt, I want to have this moment. And I can't because I don't have a camera.
Yeah.
And this is when I felt it, that I want to take a picture. And I asked my friend, can you borrow me a camera? And he just hesitated because I had no idea about taking photos. So he just settled all the settings for me on the camera. And all I did was just push the button, yeah. And it was taken on a negative. Later on, he developed the film and sent it to me by post. This just three pictures that I took. He sent it to me. I did a print. Later on, I could do my prints myself in the darkroom. I did color prints in the darkroom myself. But then I had no idea how to do it because I knew nothing about photography. But that's how it started, with this moment when I felt that there are moments that I want to have for me and for others. And that's how photography started.
I should mention, we also did VASA displayed a retrospective of your husband's work and his book. That was, and it's all archived completely on the VASA site. So let's move in a little bit about what you're doing now with the festival and with the gallery, and how you're really building a photographic community in your part of Poland. I would think it's the southwest part of Poland. Is this a couple hours from Krakow?
It's south central.
Okay. Well, it's a beautiful area. I've been there a couple of times, and it's a beautiful area.
Yeah, it's close to the Czech Republic, close to Krakow, as you said. And in fact, Bielsko-Biała, where I live, is in the center of the world. Because when you take a circle and you go around, so you've got the same number of kilometers to Warsaw, to Prague, Bratislava, Vienna, Budapest, and Bucharest. And we are in the center. So it's easy to be, the center of photography here.
Okay.
And we have founded the Gallery of Photography in 1992. So it's quite a long time now that the gallery is running. And the exhibition is each month. There is a new exhibition and the meeting of the author. And we show everything in the gallery that deals with photography, but with good photography. So it's document, portrait, experiment, landscape, and so on. And we invite people from Poland mostly, but also we have some international authors, and they can be seen on our website, which doesn't work now because we are preparing new website now, so you won't see it now. And so we have shown more than 200 something, I don't remember, I think about 250 exhibitions so far. Each exhibition lasts 1 month. We print a catalog, invitations, and so on. So there is a documentary that it's left after each exhibitions, and you can see physically the catalog, you can touch it and have it. So this is the gallery. Now it doesn't work, of course, because of the virus, but we are working online and working just doing meetings online, like with you, probably also, as you remember, probably, yes. as the author. And also I run a festival of photography. It's a big biennale. It was started in 2005. It's an international meeting. The idea is that we invite one person from one country, and usually during the festival we've got 20 countries, 20 main exhibitions, and there are of course some more accompanying exhibitions and portfolio reviews and workshops and so on. So next edition of the festival will be next year. I'm already working on it, and I already have the artists. I know what will happen next year.
Okay. Well, I should add, one of the more intriguing parts is you have this marathon day where each photographer has about 40 minutes, 30 minutes to show their work, to talk, to tell stories, whatever it might be. And I found that to be very, very nice, because it kept moving, and it was always fresh ideas, and you get to hear like what we're doing here from the photographer's perspective. We would say from their own mouth. They have a voice, and besides their work. Yeah.
I think, in fact, these are most important days of the festival. There are very intense days because it lasts the whole Saturday, the whole Sunday, as you know, because you were present there. And it's most inspiring when you meet people physically and you can talk to them and you can hear them, because work is work. Sometimes it's fantastic, yeah, and of course it's good to deal with them personally, not online. But when you meet people, it's something that it can't be repeated, and it's the best value that is in the world. So they are most precious days for me, and most important. And also people, not also visitors, say that it's good to be part of this marathon, but also photographers say it, that they can meet together and also exchange their thoughts and their ideas about photography. And what we show on the festival, there is no theme. So we always show just good photography. I invite people whom I just think that they are good and who I praise and I think they are precious. So it doesn't matter whether it's landscape or documented or photo reportage. An artist is an artist. So we try to show many paths of photography, that photography is very rich and you can go this way, or this way. And in fact, it doesn't matter as far as you are authentic, you are good.
Yeah.
So
well, I think that's the idea. Another enjoyable part of the festival is that is this not, like you said, not just documentary or not just landscape or conceptual work. It's a whole review, basically, of photography, all the different genres. And I find it really refreshing. And I know personally I've enjoyed being there and meeting all the other photographers and meeting the students that come. But it's been really, I think it's good. But how do you put this on every year? I mean, the energy that goes into doing that. Let's not even talk about the funding. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Happily enough, some people help me. I've got a group of people who support me and help me in some things. Also, during the festival, when it already happens, we have 100 volunteers. So it's a lot, and those people are really, really very engaged in festival, and we have managed to build kind of a festival family. Yeah. People are very involved and attached to the festival, and they like the atmosphere that is during the festival. So it's good. And how do I manage? As I told you at the beginning, I don't know. I've got no idea, because really it's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And to prepare the festival, I have to work 2 years and almost every day. So really, it's a huge work. We are also supported by the city, which is very happy. We are very happy because of that, because otherwise it would not be possible to do such a big festival. And they also help us a lot in some organizing things. So, but again, what drives me and what drives other people is just passion, it's just love for photography, it's just passion for life. It's just passion that you are here for purpose on this earth and you want just to do something. You can lie and be bored and just be on the beach and have nice sunbathe, yeah, and look good. But you can do something for yourself and for other people and for humanity in general. And my idea is to show through the festival and through photography what are the problems of the world, how can we solve them, and what is our approach towards different problems. And photography is a great means to show this and to make people think about our condition in the world, about the earth again, and about our problems, that probably when they see those things on photography, probably next generations will be wiser than us and will treat other people with more human feeling, and we'll solve some problems.
Well, I think going back to the festival, one of the reasons that I sense the success is the community you've built around the festival, that people continue every year, they get into the energy, but they feel part of it. They feel ownership being in the festival. It's not just one person's project and they just happen to be there. No, there's a community. And knowing you and hearing you tonight, it's you're very good at building community. But what's also very interesting, I mean, I know, okay, but you're not just a photographer, okay, doing beautiful landscape work. You have a vision, okay, but you're also created a platform to promote other people's work. You created an environment that people can come and learn and share and express their ideas or hear other people's ideas. And a lot of times people don't understand what that takes for that to happen on a continuous basis. How do you sustain, these festivals, these activities over the years? It's not just one or two times. You've been doing this for a long time, and you're very good at it. And I can imagine at the end of each festival, you're saying, like we all say in a way, is like, no more. This is it. I'm just tired. I got no energy, right? And then
that's what happens. Yeah.
the passion, the flames come back up, and you get some positive people around you, and you just do it. And that's just doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. After each festival, I'm absolutely drained. So, and what as you say, I say it's the last time. It's not possible to do it again because it's beyond my possibilities. And half a year passes, 3 months. I close everything financially and so on, because of course when the festival closes, it's not the end. Yeah, it's still you still have some work to do. And then there's something that you lack, something that you are missing, and you say, okay, I have to do it again because this and this. And what I have noticed generally, we as artists are very often very selfish and very egocentric and very concentrated on ourselves, because we are the artists. So we are very touchy, fragile things. And that is why I decided to do something for others, just not to do the landscape just only for me, and just to do photography only for me and for my purpose and for my feelings and for my relaxations, but to do something bigger, to show people that, and also to promote tolerance through the festival, to show that what I said, that it really doesn't matter whether you take portraits or you are a war photographer. Both are art, really. Because sometimes people say, it's landscape. Oh no, it's landscape. It's not art. Yeah. Oh, it's document. No, it's not art. It's not. Don't show it in the gallery. It's document. It's for press. Yeah. No, it doesn't exist. It's just good or bad photography and nothing more. So when I was organizing exhibitions in the gallery, this was the start of the festival, because there was one exhibition each month. So why not to show more exhibitions during 1 month? Yeah. So
let's create some more work for ourselves. Yes.
Yes. That's how the festival started. And also we engage young people, because the festival is constructed in such a way that you have the so-called masters of photography. People that we invite are usually people who are very high in the history or in the trend of world photography, have very big achievements. So they are kind of masters. But we involve a lot of young people who can show their work. And there is the so-called photo open. And we've got more than 100 authors there who can show their work. And also during the portfolio review, or during the Diaz show, where you can show multimedia work. So this is the platform for people who are not known, do not know how to show themselves to the wider audience, and they can come here to the festival and show their work. So I want to meet those young, let's call them amateurs, but they are not always amateurs, and those masters. And this is something that is beautiful. This is the full flower.
Well, maybe sometime we'll have a talk again about amateurism and making masters and what does that all mean, right? Because there are people that tap into the business of photography, selling their work, and you're drinking some good wine, I see, Vino Rosso. Okay.
It's a little bit of wine, a lot of water.
Sure. Well, wine is the gods of water, I guess. But, you know, I mean, it's looking at those issues that by which young photographers strive to become something. And it's the becoming that's interested to me. What are they becoming? What do they try? What's the mythologies about photography and photographers? But that's, I think, a discussion for the future, which I'd love to have with you because you have a realm of experience and insights. You know, but this is a real quick on aside. How many photo festivals are in Poland? I know Krakow has a festival, and it used to be the month of photography.
I would have to, I think, in fact, they become more and more popular. It becomes more and more popular to do a festival. So I think now there is about 10 festivals in Poland.
Okay.
Yeah, I would count it correctly, but more or less, yeah.
That's great because it really promotes the medium. Yeah.
There's in Krakow, in Warsaw, in Wrocław, in Łódź, in Bydgoszcz, in Opole, in so maybe a few, 5 very big festivals, and more or less 5 smaller ones.
So you're part of an elite group.
Well, I don't think about it really.
Well, you mentioned we may have some more time because Zoom has gone past its 40 minutes. We had a little bumps in starting. Was there other work you wanted to show us or anything from the festivals or the gallery?
I can show you shots to know, would like to know what it's like. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you think. Yeah, about the festival? Yeah. Okay, so I have to share. Yeah, I also have some documentary things. So maybe if there is some more time later, I can also. So this is the atmosphere of the festival. Mm-hmm. I don't know what else would you like to see?
I mean, maybe that's a good cue to bring closure to this conversation. So we come back to both of us. And what I have here is from last year's festival. This is their catalog and all the different photographers and work in here. Very well produced, very exciting work, and very broad from what you were saying before. But I want to thank you for this enjoyable time. And I've seen things from your work, which I've never seen before. And you do a great job. And the festival and the gallery is quite amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, and hope to see you personally here again. Come to the festival and come to the gallery and stay in touch.
Yeah, if we ever get out of this virus restrictions, what's the date of the next festival?
It's October 2021.
Okay, so a year from this fall. Either we should be hopefully out of the virus stage. Okay.
Yeah, hope so. If not, we will do a mask festival. So
That's true. Call it the Masked Man and Woman.
we will manage somehow. Whatever happens, we will manage.
That's true. Okay. Well, again, thank you very much, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for inviting me, and keep calm and safe and warm and healthy.
And you do the same. Okay.
Bye bye.
Ciao. Ciao.
Bye bye.
Bye.